Our first speaker tonight is Andreanela. Andreanela was recently selected as one of the Angels Baseball Foundation Scholars, which is a highly competitive scholarship for high school seniors here in Orange County. In addition to graduating from high school with her associate's degree already secured, completed, Andreanela is also the co-founder of a community organization in Orange County. Tonight, she raises her voice and shares her journey. It is my pleasure to introduce Andreanela.
When I'm excited, I tend to speak more than I normally do. I light up and I share what's on my mind. As a kid, I didn't see anything wrong with that. But for my father, a proper little girl shouldn't talk too much. He would turn and tell me, "Te miras más bonita calladita. You look prettier when you're quiet." This phrase echoed for many years to come. Each time I was told that, the light inside of me dimmed, making me feel like my opinions didn't matter, or that I didn't have a voice in the conversation. It took me a long time to get out of the shell I was forced to be in. But throughout the years, I picked up qualities that have helped tremendously with my confidence, not only as a leader, but as an individual. For example, I've always been a go-with-the-flow gal, because I found it easier to just nod and smile back. But now I don't hesitate to question or suggest an idea, something I was terrified of doing before. I'm able to do this because I learned that communication is key in every aspect of life, and that unfortunately people aren't mind readers. However, I'm still growing, because each time I voice my opinion, my heart pounds so hard I think I'm dying. Advocating for myself makes me nervous, but I still do it, just in my own way. I know it will always be intimidating, but as long as I speak my truth unapologetically, I'm able to unmute the voice that had been buried inside of me for a really long time. And even though I still have a long way to go, I can't forget to mention and thank my community for being with me throughout this journey. And shout outs to Girls Inc. for always being there this past year. The organizations and individuals that make up my community are what inspire me to make a positive impact on my corner of the world. Most noticeably, I co-founded my own community organization called Taboo Talks, where our goal is to promote vulnerability, self-expression, and discussion on stigmatized topics among youth. I created it because I don't want anyone to feel voiceless like how I did for most of my life. That is what makes me fight for Taboo Talks and everything that I do. I continue to push when sometimes I feel defeated, but I know this is bigger than me. It isn't just a fight to prove something to myself and others. It's a fight to be heard, to be seen, to be acknowledged, and the conversation isn't over. It has only begun.
I have the incredible honor to introduce our next speaker, Tara. She is recently selected as one of our Angel Scholarship winners, and she has been such light and positivity and just overall incredible person throughout the entirety of College Bound and beyond. I am really happy to introduce her.
A light at the end of a tunnel. In a year filled with immense uncertainty, insecurity, and indescribable loss, Girls Inc. was just that, a light at the end of a tunnel. Hello, my name is Tara, and I am a college-bound participant. This past year, the pandemic hindered my ability to directly communicate with my peers, my mentors, and my instructors throughout the college application and preparation season. But Girls Inc.'s college-bound program allowed me to adapt through the ever-changing climate of our world and gain the resources and advocacy I needed to apply to college. Regardless of the elements of life that were absent this past year, I've learned a great deal about myself and my abilities to succeed. This pandemic has given me the opportunity to reflect, and reflection has galvanized me to visualize my goals and aspirations and find ways in which I can bring them to life. Before the coronavirus pandemic became prominent, applying and enrolling into a 4-year university was an unfathomable concept due to financial barriers, first-generation status, and a lack of resources. Girls Inc. introduced me to the Angels Foundation and the opportunity of potentially being able to be a part of a network of scholars comprised of individuals who can teach me, challenge my perspective, make me a stronger person, as well as the monetary resources to obtain my degree in neuroscience. Today I can proudly say that I plan to be a first-generation student at the University of Southern California thanks to the opportunities that were brought to me by Girls Inc. My time being a member of the Girls Inc. family has brought so many moments of opportunity, reflection, hope, and joy. And I'm eternally grateful to have become part of a community of empowering women that made me realize I have the potential to achieve greatness. Girls Inc. bridged each and every gap that hindered me from entering higher education and gave me the hope of attaining a college degree. In a world where there are a plethora of barriers and restrictions for young women to gain advocacy and the resources to achieve their goals, Girls Inc. is an outlier. It is the exception to the rule and the rejection of the stereotype that young women are powerless. It is the support every young woman needs to be strong, smart, and bold. I simply would not be where I am today with all these connections to amazing young women and leaders in our community without Girls Inc. Thank you.
And our third girl speaker tonight is going to be Pranathi K, who has served as a Girls Inc. ambassador several times during her time as a Girls Inc. girl and demonstrates her boldness and her leadership daily. From creating her own club for students with disabilities and special needs to volunteering at a food bank, she has shown her commitment in creating and fostering change. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Pranathi K.
Good evening, fellow graduates, friends, and the wonderful audience of Girls Inc. To just introduce myself a little, my name is Pranathi, my favorite color is pink, I'm 17 years old, know 5 languages, and I'm a lover of all things Disney. I'll be going to UCLA this fall to study bioengineering with a specialization in computer science. After 13 years of school education, we all accomplished one of the first biggest milestones in our lives, high school graduation, and we accomplished it in the most non-traditional way possible. I set foot into Portola High School with jeans, a t-shirt, backpack, a lunch bag in my right hand, and my middle school friends. Fast forward just a month, my normal school outfit was exchanged with a marching band uniform, my backpack with a sports bag, my lunch bag with a saxophone case, alongside my new family and friends. Reflecting back on my high school experience, I was a part of the girls' basketball team, peer tutoring, student government, pink ribbon club, mock trial, speech and debate, girls' tennis, choir, percussion ensemble, link crew, marching band, among other things, like building a solar-powered water desalination device. But being one of the only girls in my school's robotics team and founding a club where we fight for the equality of students with special needs and disabilities led me to discover parts of myself I didn't know were within. As I leave my own community to soon become a member of another in college, I intend to continue advocating for inclusivity, fostering innovative thought, and providing light and water for other ideas to root. Every single day, we all grew stronger both mentally and physically. Our debates and Socratic seminars and academic classes pushed us to share unique perspectives, which became a basis to learn about ourselves. We grew into mature young adults through the values of integrity, respect, perseverance, empathy, and drive. Before I joined Girls Inc., freshman and sophomore year went by in the blink of an eye, and suddenly I was a junior, waiting to experience a normal high school experience until March 13th, 2020, a week that changed our lives. We celebrated with happiness after getting an extra week of spring break, more time to sleep in, and more time to study for AP tests. But soon enough, that break prolonged to months and seemed to never end. During the pandemic, I juggled internships, research programs, college applications with a newfound love of baking. I felt lost trying to find peace in the time of chaos, so relied heavily on my family at Girls Inc., and I was able to find a safe haven through programs like Eureka and G3, along with the College Bound program. The coronavirus pandemic took away my everyday lives. Staying indoors, no more sports practices, no more choir concerts, club meetings, or robotics competitions, or even labs in physics and bio class, my life was on halt. But guess what? A global pandemic was not going to stop me. With the support of Girls Inc., my friends and I found ways to revamp everything important in our lives. We led virtual club meetings, helped our community, took jobs as essential workers, and adapted our lives to not be stopped by a pandemic. Many of us have been or know someone impacted by the pandemic, but rather than being taken aback, we put ourselves 2 steps forwards to make the best of each day. Girls Inc. provided a blueprint for a high school experience, and I would not be the person I am today without the Girls Inc. community. The emotional and personal motivation I received led me to take upon new opportunities. In fact, I was empowered enough to be able to work on a project about cervical cancer cells and give a TED Talk about it. The resilience each and every one of us have shown is unlike any other graduating class. We, the class of 2021, did it. We strived and succeeded in a global pandemic and proved not only to the world, but to ourselves that we are ready to be the future of technology, medicine, sports, business, among other things, and lead our community towards a future where dreams become a reality. We graduated in the hardest of times, and we won't stop there. Every single one of us holds a valuable place in the world, and there's no hardship that will stop us. The class of 2021 set a legacy and will continue to do so throughout the largest milestones in our lives. Girls Inc. gifted us the tools and resources needed for the next stages in our lives, and it is our promise to you that we will craft it and use it for a better future. Thank you.
I have the absolute honor and pleasure to introduce Nguyen L. Nguyen has a contagious affection and enthusiasm for Girls Inc. programming. She recently served as an ambassador for the Girls Inc. Better Together annual event and has just been stellar at every program she joins. We are excited to have Nguyen share her journey to be in college bound with you all tonight. And without further ado, Nguyen, take it away.
If you find a book you really want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it. Toni Morrison. Hello, everyone. My name is Nguyen. 4 years ago, my family and I immigrated from Vietnam to the United States. I was not entirely certain how I am going to write a new chapter of my life in this new land. Sitting on the plane, I experienced a wide range of emotion, from the utmost excitement about the United States to the absolute anxiety. The first 2 years of living in Georgia were the hardest. I remember vividly those days that I heavily relied on Google Translate to communicate with other people. The financial burden since my parents were grappling to find jobs when we first arrived, and the lack of Asian representation in my school community. All of those challenges rendered me fear, confusion, and uncertainty, but also resilient. I want to use my competence to combat all of those challenges. Every day, I take a little step forward. Within a year, I founded the Welcoming Committee Club with the purpose to help immigrant students assimilate to the American culture at my school. I want to create a place for embracement from the feeling of being ostracized and make sure that no other student feel this way. From my experience of being in a 1.5 immigrant generation, I deliver my story to the Northeast Georgia Creative Writing Competition, and fortunately, I received first place for my submission. Although I am happy for the award, it was also a moment that illuminates my dream of advocating and representing the Asian immigrant community, as I witnessed the lack of Asian voice and representation in the writing world. After 2 short years of living in Georgia, my family decided to move across the country to California. Moving from the East Coast to the West Coast became my new challenge, as I readjust myself for an entire new school environment and curriculum. Push myself to make new friends. I also learned to share other burdens with my immigrant parents. I became their translator whenever we went to places like the DMV, the bank, retail store, etc. I also helped them pay bills online, translated tax paperwork, and called the internet services when the internet goes out. These experiences do not only help me to become more mature and gain compassion for my parents, but also bolster my love for the immigrant community who's in deeply need of help. Until the arrival of the pandemic this year, I realized that there are times I cannot maintain my strong and positive attitude. With the effect of school closure, distant learning, changes within the college application process, and limited direct help from my teachers, I became lost and exhausted. Girls Inc. became the only source of strength for me during the strenuous college application process. From the first Zoom sessions, I can feel the embracement, encouragement, and strong sense of community despite all of our interaction being virtual. I cannot describe how appreciative I am towards all of my Girls Inc. staff and my Grad Lab advisors. They provided me the support from day one that I entered the program to the day I submitted my application. All of the Girls Inc. staff were always by my side to inspire, encourage, and support me. The Grad Lab program did not just solely focus on the college application, although the program went above and beyond the expectation in helping us with our college essay, offering office hours, providing information about scholarship. Every staff member is passionate about educating us on topics that we wish to discuss, yet we never had that opportunity in our school community. I can say with confidence that my passion for political science and laws was strongly developed during the time I participated in Grad Lab, thanks to all the insightful discussion during the workshops such as SHIVOS, PIMCO, and other external organization that was provided by Girls Inc. I learned more about my community and grew my passion to help marginalized community. As I approach the end of my high school journey, I am proud to say that I will graduate with a rank of 12 out of 500 students in my school. I am honored to be featured in the Tableau magazine and once again share my immigrant journey. Last March, I was honored to be accepted by 9 university, UCLA, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara, UC Davis, UC Irvine, Cal State Long Beach, Cal State Norwich, Cal State Chico, Cal State LA, and I am proud to say that UCLA will be my home for the next 4 years. Even though this year is my first time joining Girls Inc., I am privileged to be in such an inspiring and powerful community. I cannot be more fortunate to be able to learn from every single amazing and wonderful woman in this program. All of your phenomenal resilience, passion, and dedication have inspired me to continue learning, making positive changes, and empowering the next generation of women in our society. With a long journey ahead, I continue to write next chapters of my life in the book that I want to read.
And now we would like to introduce our 5th and final speaker for the evening. Jessie has been a Girls Inc. girl longer than most of us have been even working at Girls Inc. Jessie has participated in nearly every program and has even been instrumental in supporting our programs as a Girls Inc. intern and in bringing our programming to new schools in the county. She typifies what it means to be strong, smart, and bold with her measured tenacity, her quiet confidence, and her unabashed fierceness. It is my pleasure to introduce Jessie.
I'm Jessie, and I've been a Girls Inc. girl for 5 years now. When I was 13, I thought that it was a fact that I was never going to go to college. I didn't think that there was any reason that I should believe I should go to college. My mom immigrated from Guatemala when she was only 16, and she only ever received her GED. My dad never pursued an education beyond high school, and both of my brothers dropped out of their first semesters at community college. My family also always struggled financially, and that was a big obstacle in what was supposed to be a clear vision of my future. When I was 14, I participated in Girls Inc. of Orange County's Eureka Summer Program. I was so excited for every curriculum we got to learn, except for the one called College Bound. I didn't think I was college bound, and so I wasn't excited to sit in a room and listen to somebody talk about all the schools that I couldn't get into, couldn't afford, and would never attend. Up to that point, everyone in my life had told me that I should go to college, but how was 14-year-old me supposed to know how to do any of that by myself? Fayla Johnson was the facilitator of that curriculum, and she's actually here today. Hi. Instead of hearing about all of the same information that always gets passed down about how important it is to get a higher education, I was taught about why it's important and how I could actually do it. Instead of learning about what schools were better than others, like everybody always says, I was taught about the differences between those schools and how to tell which ones worked best for me. I didn't quite know it at the time, but that was the summer that I had decided that I would go to college. When I was 16, I signed up for the full College Bound program. There, I was given a pressure-free space where the only thing that was expected of me was that I try my best. I was given individual support by facilitators and staff who cared about me and believed in me. I was given the resources and the knowledge to create a plan for my future and all the support and guidance I needed to carry out that plan. Now I'm 17 and I've been accepted to 4 universities and have confirmed that I will be going to Cal State Fullerton this fall as a first-gen student. It was Girls Inc. that helped me realize that I was in fact college bound, and that motivated me and supported me along the whole way to ensure that I would never forget that. I know that the future will come with many stresses and challenges, but I'm absolutely sure that with Girls Inc., I'm never gonna have to navigate through them alone. Thank you so much.